So what's going on, people? Back with another video. I know it's been a minute. So I ran into a interesting problem that I was working on at work, and I figured I shoot a little video to talk about it. So it was a classic kind of string manipulation problem or issue, and I way to came up with my own way to work around it. So I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So let's see. Let me first show you what I was out to do. There's an example. Give me a good example, please. That's not a good example. All right. Just a second. I'm gonna find the PDF I was working off of. All right. All right. Cool. So let me switch to my other screen. All right. Cool. So you should be able to see the screen. This was part of the UI that I was creating. UI stands for user interface. Um, it's basically part of the screen that I'm making. Let me switch you back. My bad. All right, cool. So these little pills, I call them pills, tabs. You can call them whatever you want. With that has a name, date of birth, social security number. So these, without you know, divulging what the app is, um, all this information is fake information, by the way. So don't be trying to think this is a real person and you can call their phone number and all that stuff because you can't. Uh, all right, I just had to check one thing. So these pills come in as a string, and it's a string. This is all one string put together, right? So I needed to figure out how to bust this string up. You know what? Give me just a second. Let me switch you back to over here. All right, give me just a second. I need to check something. All right, somebody's in the building. Hey, if you're watching this live, give me 1 second. I'm gonna stop this stream and restart it in like 10 seconds, just to restart the video over again. All right, uh, for whoever the other person is that's watching this. All right, we back. We back. We back. All right, cool. Let me start over again. So let me switch you over to screen three. So to give you, uh, let me put this back up. All right. So to give you an overview of what I ran into working on at work. So this is a user interface that I'm working on. Uh, so I was working on creating these peels. I call them peels. You can call them tabs or whatever the proper name is for them. I call them peels. Um, the issue is this comes in as one string all put together, and I needed to figure out how to bust it up, how to separate that string, and to extract these pieces from it. And depending on if it is a plus in the string or a minus in the string, I needed to have these appear as they appear on the screen. So if it's a plus, it needs to be in this black background, white text, like that. If it's a minus, then it needs to be transparent background or white background, red text, red border. Um, so first part of this is splitting up that string. So let me switch over to my other screen. Give me just a second. All right, cool. So let's show this. All right, so this is how that string comes in, like this. And I needed to break it up to make it look, to make it work with that. So I needed to get that from this. So I had to figure out, let me see if I can get my cam in here too. All right, that works better. And okay, cool, cool. So I had to figure out how I'm going to extract that information, right? So I start out, let's say, I know I need to split it, right? So I need to split it. So if we call split on the string, right? And I know you can't just say split on. First, I tried different things. Split on, but I needed it to split on pluses and minuses. So if you just do split on that, split returns you an array, right? So I split on plus. It spit out this empty string because it took that plus and split and then gave you the rest as the second element in the array. So I knew something like that wasn't going to work. So I knew I needed a regex for it. Regex just stands for regular expression. So I don't want you to focus too much on the regex because I can show you how I figured out what the regex is that I was going to need for this, either in another video or at the end of this one or in a few minutes if anybody has any interest in that. So if you're watching in the chat, feel free to throw a what's up or say who you are or where you're watching from or whatever that is. Because I got the chat up on this other monitor over here, so I can kind of see. If you see me looking over, that's when I'm looking at the chat. Um, so the regex I figured out that I was gonna need. I said if I can just split on minus, right? Um, and we'll do this capturing character. It's kind of a look ahead type thing. So don't worry about this part that I'm typing now. I never remember these things, so I'm looking at the actual code that I ended up writing over here. So with this code and splitting on this is what I end up with now. So I end up with the pieces that I need, but a key part you'll notice is that when it splits on this minus, it does not include that delimiter as part of the result. So I get the plus because I'm not splitting on the plus, I'm splitting on the minus or the dash, if that's what you want to call it. Um, and I get back DOB, but I don't get the minus DOB or the minus driver's license number there. So then I'm like, okay, what do I need to do there? I mean, I could do some stuff like if it starts with a plus, then I know it's add, otherwise do something else. But I needed it to display with that minus at the front of these. Remember in the example, let me switch it back so you can see. So what I had to end up with was this, and I needed that. This symbol got replaced with the dash. So I didn't want to have to do some crazy stuff and add back and all this, conditional stuff. So I wanted that string to come through like that so I could just spit it in this span or div and style it. I didn't want to have to do any crazy other type of manipulation. So I said, all right, how are we gonna handle that? So after it's split, that's my old lady in the background. She just walked in the door making fun of me talking. Uh, so what I ended up with, just to make sure, you see how on the first one you end up with this empty space. So I wanted to make sure I didn't end up with any empty spaces in the thing. So one of the ways you can do that is to uh, filter the item that you get, and you only want the ones that are truthy. So this bang bang or not is JavaScript coercion. So it will only return if an item is defined. So if it comes back as a falsy value or a falsy value, it will not pass this filter. So it won't make it into the end array. Um, it's going to end up looking the same, but I should do it on that top one. See, this ends up looking the same, but if I go back to this guy, which was given that space, if I take this guy and I say filter every item in there, so filter will work on, it goes through every item in the array and returns whatever um, passes this filter, returns yes for this filter. So if I say I only want the items that are truthy, empty string is falsy, so it'll catch that and it will not include it in the resulting array. You'll see it took that empty space item and took it out because it didn't pass that filter. It's not a truthy item, so it filters that out, and I end up with that. So I put that in. Really, I could take that out because it's not. I shouldn't get any of that now, but I left it in there. Um, so now that leaves me getting these back, and I want to get those minuses back still is where my mind's at. So I take the result of that call and I map over it. I take the item, map operates on every item in the array as well. Let me check the chat. Make sure, nope, there's nobody in there. Cool. So map works on every item in the array as well. So I say for every item in the array, see if the item starts with a plus. Boom. If it starts with a plus, starts with returns a boolean, which is true or false. So this is called the ternary. So this is basically an if-else statement written in one line. So this says if the item starts with a plus, and then put your question mark there. On the other side is going to be your return value if that's true. So if that's true, return the item, because remember, if it starts with a plus, it's already got the symbol that we want in front of it. So just give me back that item. And then colon says else, or if not, then I want you to take, and this is a template string, I want you to take as a string, take the dash, and then this is template string interpolation. So I hope you can do this in the, I hope it lets you do this in the console. We're about to find out. This is a live experiment to see if it lets you do this. All right. So the way this reads is take the string, split it on the minuses, right? You'll get back this, but it'll drop the minuses. This is just a little filter check to make sure you don't end up with any empty strings in there. Take the result of that, see if each individual item that you get back, this one, and this one, if it starts with a plus, just give me that back because it's already in the right format. If it does not start with the plus, which is this else side, then take whatever that item is and append a dash in front of it. So I don't know if it will let me do this in the console or not, but we're about to see. Boom. There we go. And I end up with these three lovely deals. So that's a quick string manipulation problem that I ran into um, to get these three peel items produced. I figured it was a nice quick little video to shoot. So if you got any questions on that stuff, I don't know if you're new to JavaScript or whatever, but if you didn't know, on any web page that you're on, if you hold down, I do it from memory now, so I don't even think about it. Option Command J will open up the JavaScript console if you're in Chrome, rather. So if you're watching this in Chrome, hit Option Command J. If you're on a Mac, that is. If you're on Windows, I think it's Alt Windows key J, maybe. Don't quote me on that. I haven't used Windows in, I don't know, over 10 years or something like that. So I really do not remember the commands for Windows, but it should be that. Let me switch to my other cam. Yeah, that's better. But it should be something like that, and that'll bring up this console. So uh, most people are used to seeing this part, which is the inspector, where you can see the HTML markup. But this other tab is console, where you can actually like write JavaScript, and it'll execute right there in the console. You can also see the sources for the page if you have that stuff turned on. You can see any network requests that happen. So this is the communication between your computer and the computer from whatever page you hit it. So I hit it from this page. So this is what was sent to Google's servers and what was coming back. So these are filtered on XHR requests, which are data requests. Basically, my computer was requesting data from Google, and this was the um, information that came back. So that'll tell you what URL it sent to get stuff. So it went to Google Leads, g.doubleclick.net page add /ID. 200 means it was good to go. And if you want to see what the payload was that I got back this ID, some type of GUID ID. Don't ask me what it's for. I have no clue. But each one of these is a different request that got back different stuff. Here's a XFRF token that came back with some timing and response stuff. I don't know what these different items are and stuff. But it's cool when you visit a site to poke around here and see what kind of stuff. All this stuff came back from Google's computer, Google server. So this is like basic level stuff. Look at here. Here's Black Knight coding. So this was for the page, my page that I got back. You can see what the email is for my account. Here's the title of my account, what the version is, user ID info for login link, etc., etc. So all that stuff is there. Anyway, I'll stop poking around there. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for now. Nobody has any questions in the chat, so I'm gonna call that. I'm gonna call that good. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.